which are expected in exams and you may struggle in the expectation of those questions in exams. That's a question which is asked once only. ये आपका क्वेश्चन है प्रॉफिट्स लाइफ इन मदीना के साथ रिलेट कर रहा है. Look at the question wording and check, are you able to understand the same way that question is going to be addressed or not. अब यहाँ पे normally कुछ मिस्टेक्स हैं. आई थिंक ये मैंने कहीं टेस्ट में भी कुछ स्टूडेंट्स को दिया था. यहाँ पे नहीं, दूसरी जगह एक दो मैंने रैंडम मॉक्स लिए या पास्ट पेपर सेशन करवाए. आई गिव द स्टूडेंट दिस क्वेश्चन एंड दे डिड मिस्टेक. Cambridge is saying Prophet interacted with non-Muslims. Many students do a mistake for brotherhood between Muhajirin and Ansar. यहाँ लिखते हैं that is completely not required. One thing. वहाँ पे एक और different wording के साथ question है. They said how Prophet ﷺ settled the people in Medina, non-Muslims and Muslims together. और वहाँ पे students ने Muslims के consider करते हुए brotherhood भी लिखा. यहाँ की सारी discussion किसके साथ जा रही है? That is purely about Jews, or somewhere you will talk about Christians, and if you want you can talk about one more group. Prophet की कुरैश के साथ तो interaction आपने लिखना है ना. It's not talking about people inside Medina. Cambridge is expecting you to write about the fight with the Quraysh of Makkah also. They are also non-Muslims. You will also talk about the Christians. Christians were there in Medina and a delegation came from outside as well. What was the name of the delegation which came to Holy Prophet? वो मैंने अभी तक आपसे डिटेल में डिस्कस नहीं किया हुआ, briefly डिस्कस किया था. Do you know about the treaty with the Christians of Najran? No, that is something which is mentioned in one of the books. Handout में है और मैं आपको suggest करूँगा आप उसको देखें. Life in Medina, Prophet's last year in his life, you will find out that discussion there. So you will refer to that one. You can see here, main discussion is about Jews and the Muslims, good and bad both. Don't think you're going to talk about just the peace agreement which was signed between the Muslims and the Jews. You will not restrict to that one. You will talk about expulsion also, and you will also talk about Prophet's good behavior. कि Prophet shared the food and other things with the Jews. That is very good, like I can say, outline to address this question in a perfect way. ये आपको अच्छा फिर Christians पे आपकी discussion यहाँ आ जाती है. You can see Christians of Najran. Can you see the reference of Christians of Najran there? I will suggest you कि Christians of Najran आप पढ़ के ही जाएं, उसको छोड़ के आपने नहीं जाना, क्योंकि Cambridge can give you a question, Prophet's interaction with Christians as a whole. In my handout is a 10-mark question, suggested question with suggested answers, कि how Prophet interacted with Christians in his life in Medina. Whole life even. Yes, एक second. Someone raise the hand.
सर इसके अंदर
Yes.
हम नॉन मुस्लिम्स को जो लेटर्स लिखे थे प्रॉफिट ने वो
हाँ,
लिख
very good, very good. Letter to kings भी यहाँ पे आ सकता है. यहाँ I think उसने Cambridge ने रेफर किया हुआ भी है. तो yes, exactly, letter to kings बिल्कुल यहाँ पे रेफरेंस दिया जा सकता है. ठीक हो गया. नॉन मुस्लिम्स किंग्स जो थे, वेरी गुड पॉइंट. अब ये आप अपनी डेली लाइफ से रिलेट कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, यहाँ साथ ही एक चीज बताऊं, बिकॉज आई हैव फाउंड मेनी स्टूडेंट्स दे स्ट्रगल इन 4-mark क्वेश्चंस और दे स्टार्ट राइटिंग व्हाटएवर इज डिस्कस्ड इन पार्ट ए. वी डोंट नीड द पार्ट ए डिस्कशन बैक अगेन. What we need to do, you need to relate it with our daily lives. आजकल की situation से scenario से we have to link it. How can we use that strategy and the technique, like the way prophets life? Can we do it completely or not? We will talk about that discussion there. तो 4 marks में अपने ख्याल रखना है कि उसको daily life के साथ क्या करना है, relate करना है. Okay, that is one question which is I personally think students struggle in the answer, क्योंकि मैंने notice किया जब भी मैं choice देता हूँ, the students skip this question. They go for alternative. They may go with Badr, Uhud, Trench, but they will never use that question because that is something which needs your skills and planning for that one. So don't skip that one. And it came in 2016, October, November, non-Pakistani variant question there. So if you have time, you can take it out and just check the marking scheme of this question. नहीं आएगा. अगर वो अच्छा अगर बात करते हैं siege of Taif के साथ relate कर सकते हैं, तो you can talk about it, but Cambridge ने नहीं मेंशन कि आप रेफर कर सकते हैं. अगला क्वेश्चन जो है, अगेन देयर आर दोस क्वेश्चंस. यस, सॉरी,
इसके साथ क्या रिलेशन था?
किसका? बनु हवाज़िन एंड बनु सकीफ वाला?
हाँ जी.
अच्छा, एक्चुअली यहाँ से स्टूडेंट ने पॉइंट लिखा, कैन वी टॉक अबाउट बनु हवाज़िन एंड बनु सकीफ. तो बनु हवाज़िन और बनु सकीफ का वैसे डायरेक्टली रिलीजन नॉन मुस्लिम्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हम डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे होते. दे वर फॉलोवर्स ऑफ अब्राहमिक रिलीजन, मेनली शिर्क करते थे. तो वो कुरैश ऑफ मक्का की डिस्कशन के साथ रिलेट हो जाता है. इस वजह से आप अलग से अगर लिखना चाहें आप रेफर कर सकते हैं, वरना इंटरेक्शन विद कुरैश पॉलिटिक्स वाले पॉइंट में एग्जैक्टली चला जाएगा. अब ये सॉरी
सर, मुझे लगा क्रिश्चियंस का क्या सीज ऑफ था.
नहीं, क्रिश्चियंस वाला तो हमने क्रिश्चियंस देखे, हमने वैसे भी लेटर टू किंग्स के साथ भी लिंक करना है और क्रिश्चियंस ऑफ नजरान भी है, बल्कि इवन मदीना के अंदर भी क्रिश्चियंस थे. प्रॉफिट सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने उनके साथ भी पीस एग्रीमेंट किया था, क्योंकि मदीना में अपार्ट फ्रॉम जी
सलमान फारसी जो थे उनका आ सकते हैं उसमें?
सलमान फारसी आप लिख सकते हैं, but he came as like to accept Islam. Prophet's interaction with him not as a non-Muslim या उसके साथ कोई interaction है, तो he came to accept Islam with the will. वरना तो और भी examples फिर आएंगी, तो conversion हाँ, लेकिन again अगर आप refer करना चाहते हैं रख सकते हैं, miss हो गया you will not lose marks. अच्छा, इस क्वेश्चन के अंदर आपने ख्याल रखना है कि clans in Makkah, कीवर्ड पर थोड़ा सा फोकस करना है. Clans in Makkah treated Prophet before and after. Cambridge ने खुद already ये marking scheme है, तो they have already underlined the keywords in it. Normally students write persecution opposition perfectly. आपकी persecution opposition बहुत अच्छी होती है, but the thing is you need to talk about before. So you will choose few examples like Prophet as al-Sadiq and al-Amin. You will mention कि Prophet को जो titles मिले हैं. You will talk about belongings with Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Trustworthiness उसमें directly नहीं आएगा, तो you will mention Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam got married to Hazrat Khadija, that the people of Makkah who later became enemy of Holy Prophet, they are the ones who recommended Hazrat Khadija to get married with Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's a good relation. Hajar Aswad, yes, I'm coming to it. Sequence में आ रहा हूँ. Hazrat Khadija से marriage based on the same criteria. Fixing of black stone में how it highlighted Prophet's quality of honesty. There is a saying in some books when they saw Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sitting there, they said an honest and a trustworthy person is going to make a judgment among us, and they were very happy. Prophet was young at that time, and the people of Makkah, they were old, but they did not feel how a young person is going to make judgment. They were happy. He is a good person and he will make a wise decision there. This highlights Prophet's good quality. Prophet की good quality at open preaching भी highlight होगा. And you will talk about that one. बल्कि I found one student's answer and I appreciate that student's answer. What did that student do? That student mentioned that even Abu Lahab was very close to Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What's the proof that Abu Lahab was very close to Holy Prophet? He asked his sons to marry Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's daughters initially. So this highlights Quraysh good relation with Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they ask their kids कि आप Prophet के ऊपर trust करें. Yes. You will talk about. अच्छा, अब ये turning point आपने miss नहीं करना. Mount of Safa. First Prophet said, if I say enemy is at the back, will you believe in me? They all said yes. How the gear changed, how the situation changed, you're going to write when Prophet said, say la ilaha illallah, and they all turned and they all changed the point there. After वहीं से transition आपका आ जाए. That I think Abu Jahal's statement. But that is a good point, which you will mention. The Quraysh themselves believe that Muhammad's religion is not wrong, but they, because of their leadership and fear of losing it, they were concerned about that. When you need a question, be so why the people of Makkah still trusted on Holy Prophet, even they were enemy of Holy Prophet? If they don't have fear of that one. Yes. No, actually that question is restricted to clans in Makkah. Achha, very, very important thing. I discussed that one before also. Do mention the clan's name in that answer. Even Cambridge marking scheme lacks the clan's name, but the clan's name is very important. Clan of Banu Hashim, reaction. Clan of Banu Makhzum, reaction. Clan of Banu Umayyah, you have to talk. Clan of Banu Adi. Banu Adi tribe Hazrat Umar. So you will talk about that names there. और ये marking scheme भी आपको help करेगी. The way they torture, everyone discusses about it in a very good way, but mostly students' answer is rotating around tortures only. Try to not to restrict your answer to tortures. Try to move to the other areas also. Abu Jahal Banu Makhzum. Yes. No, it's fine. You can just mention the clan of Banu Makhzum, mainly represented by Abu Jahal and its behavior with few examples. Yes.
Sir, Abu Jahl, Hazrat Umar ka babu tha na?
Abu Jahl, we normally count him as an uncle also, क्योंकि distant relation था, तो इसलिए कुछ books में uncle भी है, लेकिन tribe उनकी mainly Banu Makhzum है. Yes, सही. Their reactions also, yes. You will talk about the way they reacted. You can see the question wording, the way they treated Holy Prophet. Okay, so of course you will talk about their reaction. Did they keep trusting on Holy Prophet even after Prophet started preaching openly? They kept. What's the benefit of that one?
for safekeeping, he was trustworthy person.
What does it highlight then?
That they still trusted him, even though that
यहाँ पे जो अयान का एक पॉइंट था वो वाले अयान का कि they knew the Prophet is a reliable person. They have no personal issues with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They had issues with the teaching which he brought. So this is what you need to write there. आगे आ जाएं दोनों वहां से आप थोड़ा सा क्लोज हुआ बिल्कुल नजर नहीं आ रहे. Okay, yes. Yes, so what do you say again? Abu Sufyan does not have personal issues, honestly speaking. कल आपको मैंने जो टेस्ट दिया, I found some students they started. I will discuss that one. वो question भी यहाँ पे आ रहा है. So some students wrote very good answer for Abu Sufyan and Hazrat Bilal. One we will talk about it. अभी उसकी तरफ आता हूँ. Abu Sufyan's enmity is high. Abu Sufyan is counted among those people who was, we can say, उसको हम कह सकते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा aggressive नहीं था throughout the Makki life of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we can just see him in his daughter, who got married to Holy Prophet when she converted to Islam and lost her husband. So we can see Abu Sufyan's discussion during Prophet's lifetime in Makkah only there, or some books have mentioned he was the part of the team which was deciding the siege of Holy Prophet's house and stepped to kill him. Abu Sufyan's main discussion starts after Prophet's arrival in Medina and trade caravan discussion onwards. And this quality of Abu Sufyan even made him think to consider Islam, not arrogant like Abu Jahal and Abu Lahab actually. So we can discuss that one. वो भी मैं आपको marking scheme दिखाता हूँ. We will discuss it. There are two questions. Yeah, आया हुआ है October, November 2022, and the variant is Pakistani variant. So you can expect similar questions again. And then this is the question which I gave you yesterday. Many students tried their best to do that one क्योंकि उनके पास options limited थी. अगर आपने mothers of Holy Prophet, and I found some answers in which the students were not able to recognize Amna bint Wahab as Prophet's real mother. What was missing in most of the students' answers? Cambridge expects about the first, some students write the dream of Holy Prophet's mother, and mostly students speaks about the lightning which came out of the body of Hazrat Amna at the time of the birth of Holy Prophet, and which spread it from east to west. You can develop it. She said, I saw 3 flags erected, one in the east, one in the west, and the third over the Kaaba, which shows the spread of Islam from east to west there. तो ये आपने वहाँ पे लिखना था. और ये मैं 2-3 दफा अपनी क्लासेस में डिस्कस कर चुका हूँ. Those students who are taking class from the very beginning, they must be aware. और मैंने कुछ ऑनलाइन आंसर्स में ये चीज नोटिस की कि they use that marking scheme to revise that topic, and they answer these details there. You can develop more points. Yes. That's what I was saying, and why I'm focusing on it. Imagine if this question is asked in CI exams, because it's asked already. See the year, it's 2023 Pakistani variant, May June question there. So you can expect such type of personalities. They will not expect the relaxation now. It is the first time. When it was asked for the first time, definitely students will leave it in choice there. लेकिन ये मैं already explain करता हूँ class में. Even when it did not come, I explained that topic to the student and said, आपने इस चीज को mind में रखना है. And you can develop it more better even here. Okay, who was the first woman who fed? Why did Prophet's mother send Holy Prophet ﷺ to Halima Sadiya? And all of these points could be developed there. Prophet sacrificed his love because she lost her husband, already dead, Prophet's father. Now she wanted to keep Prophet with her, but she did not keep Holy Prophet with her. She asked Holy Prophet to go with the Bedouin women, and because she wanted better future for Holy Prophet ﷺ. So that is also the expectation of 4-mark question, by the way. Yes. तो बाद में प्ले एक वगैरह बाद में आया है तो but you will talk it. Halima Sadiya की detail यहाँ कम है. It's better in my handout, and I found some students explain Halima Sadiya very well. And you need to talk about her, how her life changed before and after taking Holy Prophet ﷺ. You can add details of Prophet ﷺ's opening of Heart Shakka Sadar event. Cambridge has missed one point which I have found in some students' answer. Yeah, it's here. Prophet ﷺ, when Prophet ﷺ was married to Hazrat Khadija, Hazrat Halima came once to Holy Prophet ﷺ. Prophet was financially stable there at that time, and he gave sheep to Hazrat Halima. Some students even talk about Hazrat Halima at the time, Hazrat Halima's family. What was the name of Prophet's foster sister from Hazrat Halima? And Prophet ﷺ gave a great respect to her in one of the events. Shima, and what event she came as captive of war? That is Banu Hawazin and Banu Saqif tribe, and the siege of Taif discussion there. She came as a captive of war, and Prophet respected her and freed a number of people there because of the connection with Hazrat Halima Sadiya. आप वो point add कर सकते हैं. That is what was expected in it. Some answers were very good. मैंने कुछ students को इसमें 8 या 9 भी दिए हुए. The prophet was an orphan. ये एक easy question है. And if the people are there on your head, someone is monitoring you or not, watching you or not, the person should have inner feelings to avoid self-restraint. आपके internally होना चाहिए to avoid such type of immodest and the bad activities. You can connect it with the example of people living in European countries for studies and all of these things. आप link कर सकते हैं कि you are going to control yourself and not to use mobile phone in the classes as well. Okay, all right. This is one question here. Okay, next one.
ये जो दोनों personalities है, ये किसी और personality के साथ आ सकते
आ चुकी हैं. Abu Talib and Halima Saadia, 2 times it was asked already. मैंने आपको बताया फर्स्ट इस्लामिक कम्युनिटी का हैंडआउट आप ओपन करें, उसमें क्वेश्चन बैंक में है. हजरत आमिना is never asked in CI exams other than that paper there. अब आप कहते हैं कि सर what is the limit of the personalities? There is no limit. Cambridge can choose any random personality. Some student used to ask, do we prepare Abu Jahl? I say, read about that personality. Cambridge wants your understanding, not the ratta of a specific teacher's note. पहले आपको clear कर दूं. No doubt having a model answer of the teachers will be helpful. कुछ students कहते हैं सर मेरे teacher ने 2.5 या 3 page का note लिखवा है. You are just giving us a 1 page note. Sometimes 1 page note gives you level 4 even, and that 2.5 page may take your time. और आप एक ऐसी information में कुछ teachers अपने notes में introductory paragraph बहुत बड़ा बनाते हैं. When you start writing it, you will lose a lot of time in that one. So you need to make sure what is the main expectation. कभी कम लिखना more beneficial है compared to writing a lot. So that is again, ये आपको जब टेस्ट देंगे आपको practice की idea हो जाएगा, आपको स्कूल में marks. Again, do not rely only on one teacher's feedback. Sometimes I suggest you to take the feedback of, if you don't have any other alternative teacher like in school, I ask my students कि आप दूसरे teacher से भी feedback लें. Sometimes I'm giving a student A star back to back. और उसके 44, 45 आ रहे होते हैं. But I ask that student, you can take the second opinion of a teacher. I might be giving you marks because I'm thinking that you are a very good student. कहीं consider ignore हो जाता है. So give it to any teacher as a random checking, or give it to any student of another class and ask where do you rank that answer there. So you will have a good understanding that your answer is really going fine or not. Or sometimes vice versa. Your teacher might be strict, deducting too many marks for you. You might be thinking, I am not able to get even A in Cambridge, but you are a star student in some cases. So this is what you need to cross check for that. मैं कैम्ब्रिज की जो एक्सपेक्टेशन होती है, but I told you there is a range. आप 10 कैम्ब्रिज के प्रोफेशनल टीचर्स को भी बिठाएंगे ना, and you will give same paper. Even you ask me to check the same paper after 2-3 weeks without telling me it's the same paper, you may find 1 to 2 marks, maybe 3-4 marks difference there in it. And that's not me, it will be any teacher. Because level wise marking hai, it's not point marking. So you will find difference there from teacher to teacher, and don't worry about that one. After you are done with your paper, when you are done best paper, then the prayers are very important. Sometimes students say, sir, mera answer best hua hai. Some students, they used to say, sir, aap tension dale, A star pakka hai. I used to ask them, that's fine, you did it well. But again, pray कई दफा ऐसा होता है कि स्टूडेंट बहुत ज्यादा ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट हो जाता है और वो ग्रेड नीचे चला जाता है, और दूसरा जो डर रहा होता है वो बैटल ऑफ हुनैन वाली एग्जांपल है. तो यू नीड टू डू योर बेस्ट बट ट्रस्ट इन गॉड एक्चुअली. और अगेन हम आपको कहते हैं बच्चों से भी कि आप दुआ करें आपका चेकर, क्योंकि चेकर से भी वेरी करता है कि हु इज असेसिंग योर पेपर. समटाइम्स a normal answer, because I have seen the transcripts here, and as a checker of Cambridge, I used to see different answers of different teachers. Same answer of mine, I told you, gave you some examples. एक स्टूडेंट का 44, 45 बन रहा है और एक स्टूडेंट 40, 41 के ऊपर है. Maybe sometimes more differences there. So don't worry about it. Do your best. ये एक और question है. I intentionally chose it because there is a chance first year after migration and the last year in the life of Holy Prophet is important. You can see the difference in the previous question. Prophet's interaction with non-Muslims. This is talking about tribes living in Medina and the details of constitution. One student asked me today how to answer that question. So, किसी school में task मिला हुआ था student को. You need to mention the tribes here. Which tribes you will write in? Aus and Khazraj, who are the tribes of Ansar. Muhajirin, of course, you will explain them. You will explain Muhajirin. You will explain Ansar. You will explain Munafiqeen or the hypocrites. Who were they? Who were the leader of Munafiqeen? Abdullah bin Ubay. He was going to be crowned as the king of Medina, and he wanted support of the Muslim. And the fourth group was Jews. What were the 3 Jewish tribes? Banu Qanuqa, Banu Nazir, and Banu Qurayza. You need to write all of these names there. This is the beginning paragraph of your answer. You can see both paragraphs are talking about the tribes living over there. Uske baad, second part of the question is, The Constitution of Medina. Constitution of Medina is not just with Jews. It's Muslims among themselves. You can see this part. Yeah, here. Prophet made migrants and helpers, or immigrants and helpers, Muhajirin and Ansar, the treaty with them. That's one discussion. And the second part of the answer is treaty with the Jews of Medina. And make sure you will write both. Yes.
Clauses in the treaty, they're like about 12 or 13. In an exam, is it fine to write?
You just write 5, 6, depending on the question. If you're just writing on Jews, then you need to write more than 5, 6. If you're writing on Muslims among themselves, like you can see here, can you see this part? The Constitution had 2 parts. First is brotherhood between Muhajirin and Ansar. It will take up 2 paragraphs very easily. And then you will talk about the relation with the Jews of Medina and then the details are there.
Four, and they were mostly for Jews.
If the question was like that with the same question,
No.
That was, I think-
First year of,
then it's fine if you have talked about masjid. Here you don't need masjid construction and azan discussion is not required at all. But in that question, you need to write it. Okay? All right. Next question. This one. अच्छा अब ये जो क्वेश्चन है ये अभी लेटेस्ट क्वेश्चन है और मैंने इसको सिर्फ इसलिए चूज किया क्योंकि जो ट्रांसक्रिप्ट आई फाउंड स्टूडेंट्स गेटिंग 6 और 7 मैक्सिमम, उससे कुछ बच्चों के मेजॉरिटी के नहीं थे. दे सेड वी हैव डन अ परफेक्ट आंसर. और रीजन मैंने आपको पहले भी एक्सप्लेन किया था, दे डिड नॉट टॉक अबाउट open preaching to Islam. You will write about Quraysh reaction, you will write persecution and opposition, by the way, but your answer will be beginning from open preaching. आपने अगर फैमिली मेंबर्स की इनविटेशन नहीं भी लिखी हुई, सीक्रेट प्रीचिंग नहीं लिखा हुआ, you will get marks. कैमरेज ने हालांकि कहा हुआ स्टूडेंट will start from secret preaching, family members preaching, admonish thy nearest kinsmen, that's the family members invitation, and then open preaching. So if you start from open preaching, it's fine. Then persecution, opposition, perfect. Is this question restricted to just persecution, opposition, or it's talking about positive reaction of the people could be discussed here? So you can talk about some positive reactions in the meantime, like some people, they were against that one. Actually, it's after open preaching. So Hazrat Ali nahi aayega, but you can talk about Hazrat Hamza, who accepted Islam, and Hazrat Umar, somewhere he was an enemy, by the way, but one of the good behavior. But mainly your answer will be related to the persecution and opposition. Abu Lahab's reaction with detail is required there. Surah Lahab revelation, the way they mentally tortured Holy Prophet, the way they tortured Prophet's followers, the way Prophet's daughters were affected due to that one, Abu Jahal's reaction, all of these points are coming. Yes. You will talk about that one also. You will start from open preaching from Mount of Safa. And then you will mention Abu Lahab's immediate reaction and then the Quraysh overall persecution. You will talk about social boycott and asking the Prophet's uncle to leave him. All of that point will be there. Leading to migration. Yes. You don't write details of Abyssinia because they are talking about people of Makkah back again here. So Makkans people, we're not talking about Abyssinia, we're not talking about Taif in detail there. We will just focus on what was going on here in Makkah at that time, right? That is again among those questions जिसमें आपने थोड़ा सा sharply, अब 7 क्यों थे? They wrote persecution perfectly, but they forgot to begin the answer with open preaching to Islam. अगर Cambridge नहीं भी पूछता, I suggest कि start your answer of persecution from open preaching from the Mount of Safa and then go with the rest of it. And do read the question again. एक दफा नहीं, 2 दफा minimum उसको read करें and make sure are you getting the question correctly or not. This is the question which some students did a mistake in it. When I gave this question in the test, they started writing about the last year in the life of Holy Prophet. Actually, if you write the answer on last year in the life of Holy Prophet, this question will be addressed by the way. But there is no need to write about Prophet's last days in this answer. Question की wording दोबारा देखें. Describe the Prophet's pilgrimage in the final year of his life and his farewell sermon. Students see the word final year and they start writing about Prophet's last year in the life. The question is just asking you about Prophet's final Hajj, farewell pilgrimage only. They don't need the whole details of that year. So read the question again. जब आप Cambridge में करते हैं, आपको सिर्फ final pilgrimage पे ही लिखना है. Prophet के last days की detail नहीं चाहिए. Hazrat Aisha के room में stay and all of these things. We don't need all of this information there. Your question will be purely focusing on details of the Hajj and the teachings of Holy Prophet there. ये आपको सारे details मिल जाएंगी, references आ जाएंगे, last verses of Quran की references आएंगे, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam जो थे He announced, I am leaving two things among you, the Quran and Sunnah. If you follow them, we will talk about that one. You will talk about sacrifice of Holy Prophet and Prophet's return back to Medina. We don't need other informations there. If you write it, it will just waste your time. So you will focus more on preaching and speech of Holy Prophet's lessons. Yes.
But talk about the space where the exact wording.
It will be good to support it. By, for example, you said Prophet stressed on equality, and he said, whatever he said, you will write it in inverted brackets, so you will make your answer stronger there. Another question. This is easy. We already discussed about it. That similar question you may have in your school, maybe the actions Prophet took and established. So this is the question. This is easy. Why? Because you will talk about warm welcome, construction of masjid, azan, brotherhood between Muhajirin and Ansar, and then you will talk about treaty with the Jews. So that treaty with Jews is going to be one paragraph. And there is a modern answer for this question in my handout. It came in October, November, non-Pakistani variant. Yes, sir, first year of Hijrah ke different variety of questions aa jate hain. Okay, let's move to, this is theme-based question. And I told you if there is a chance of theme-based question in Cambridge papers from theme-based questions, that is likely to be this one. That is Allah's relation with messengers, especially Hazrat Adam and Hazrat Ibrahim are more likely to be there because Cambridge gave Hazrat Isa and Holy Prophet in October, November, May, June, non-Pakistani variant 2025 paper. So आपके पे फिर भी chance है. अगर आप theme की expectation करते हैं, so that is that Allah's relation with messengers, especially Hazrat Adam and Hazrat Ibrahim, and you can find out the good wording, how Allah's relation. Normally, हम story लिखते हैं. Cambridge don't like the story there. They like you to use these wording. You can see the code words. God as the creator, Adam as the creation, develop it. Then you can see God's relation as a teacher and a student. Then you have to see God tested Hazrat Adam. What the way as Allah tested Hazrat Adam, आपने उसको थोड़ा सा focus करना है. Was Hazrat Adam fully 100% successful in following that rule or instructions? Or then you will talk about the role of Shaitan. Allah ने Hazrat Adam की trial के लिए एक और किसी को create किया. Hazrat Hawa का discussion आएगा. So you will develop it in that way. Then you are able to get good grades. If it's asked there, if it's asked. You can see there is no story discussed here. We normally write the story. Allah created Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. Allah asked the angels to come and bow in front of Hazrat Adam or make sajda. They are not asking the story. They are asking you to write this type of wording there to get the higher level there. ये थोड़ा पुराना question है. It is asked, I think, क्योंकि ये 2019 की wording है. इस तरह की ना marking scheme Cambridge 2019 ये हमें दे मिलती है. जो principal examiners को paper checkers को भेजता है, ये हमारे लिए instructions होती हैं. But they gave it, I think, 2019 क्योंकि 2019 में उन्होंने इस तरह से marking scheme दी है. उसके बाद they move back to the normal way. This is for us as an examiner, but that will be very helpful to understand why my marks are less or more. वो यहाँ पे instructions उसने दिया हुआ. तो ये सारा discussion इसके ऊपर आ जाता है. और moving to some more questions quickly. ये 2018 में भी इस तरह से आया हुआ marking scheme में. और this is easy. We gave this question in our school exams actually. In Beacon House का जो mock paper था. How did Islam grow between first revelation and first public preaching in Makkah? What was expected in it? Here students write detail of public preaching, which is not requirement of the question, by the way. You can write it, but they are expecting something which happened in between. It's my core part है, that is family members. Early converts, family members, आपके आंसर का core part होना चाहिए और वहाँ पे उसने instructions दिए हुए हैं साइड पे कैम्ब्रिज की तरफ से. ये May June 2018 non-Pakistani variant का question है. If you want to get more details, I want to see it. यहाँ पे हमने हायर लेवल उस बच्चे को दिया जिसने अर्ली कन्वर्ट्स के बारे में लिखा है. नॉट ओनली जस्ट फॉर अदर देन दैट लाइक अबू बकर्स रोल इन मेकिंग मोर पीपल एक्सेप्टिंग इस्लाम. दारे अरकम का डिस्कशन आपने यहाँ पे लाजमी करना है. हाउस ऑफ अरकम. यू विल टॉक अबाउट फैमिली मेंबर्स का जो इन्विटेशन है इन डिटेल विद रेफरेंसेस. So if you say Prophet was asked to invite the family members, reference. We need reference for that. If Prophet was asked to preach openly, reference. So this is what we need in these answers there. Okay? ये आपके मौके इसलिए मैंने इसको इंटेंशनली ओपन किया था क्योंकि आपको पता हो ये क्वेश्चन कहाँ से दिया गया and you need to work on that one also. All right. That's easy. There is a similar question. We discussed about it. The clans treated after hearing the message. So use the wording of clan's name. कैम्ब्रिज में अपनी मार्किंग स्कीम में क्लान्स के नेम नहीं लिखे हुए. ER में उसने रिक्वायरमेंट में लिखा हुआ है. क्लान्स के नेम आपने फोकस करना है. However, you won't be able to get good grades. There is a similar question about Allah's relation with. ये वो मैंने क्वेश्चन आपको बता रहा था जो अभी आया है. latest question on Allah's relation with messengers may, that is this one, Prophet Messenger and Isa alayhi salam. So you need to talk about these points there in it also. Or ये less likely है, अगर इसमें आए तो Hazrat Adam and Hazrat Ibrahim is more likely, but you can see good detail about Hazrat Isa and Holy Prophet, how Allah has mentioned his relation with these people there. Okay, won't koi pardar there, don't worry. Okay, that is again, it's easy question by the way. Here the focus is on, ये वो question था जिसमें students ने brotherhood between Muhajirin and Ansar लिख दिया था, and Cambridge says we don't need brotherhood between Muhajirin and Ansar. The question is clearly mentioning Muslims and non-Muslims. तो आपने Jews के साथ ही relation पे focus करना है, और somewhere you can talk about constitution. यहाँ पे इसने दिया हुआ है Aus and Khazraj as a non-believer before converting to Islam, आप उसको discuss कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? Your focus will be on the Jews, and if you want, you can talk about the Christians. इसकी ER जो है वो कहती है कि just write about non-Muslims, not the Muslims themselves. हालांकि मुझे personally ऐसा लगता है एक paragraph लिखना चाहिए महाजिरीन और अंसार के ऊपर, लेकिन ER आप इसकी बाद में देख लेंगे. ये question आया हुआ है 2019 अक्टूबर नवंबर का क्वेश्चन है. ओके, रेफर कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगेन दे केम टू एक्सेप्ट इस्लाम, दैट्स व्हाई. अगर इसने कैम्ब्रिज ने नहीं दिया हुआ, आप लिखना चाहें लिख सकते हैं. लास्ट 2 क्वेश्चन रह गए. डिस्क्राइब द वेज प्रॉफिट्स फैमिली की मैंने डिस्कस किया हुआ, आई थिंक मैंने यहाँ टेस्ट में भी दिया था. सो आई विल सजेस्ट यू कि आप इस क्वेश्चन को लाजमी देखें. प्रॉफिट्स फैमिली, द वे दे हेल्प एंड सपोर्टेड, मैंने जिन जिन के भी क्वेश्चंस किए थे, आई रोट द points which were missing in it. Prophet's daughters, wives, uncle, cousin, Hazrat Jafar, Hazrat Ali, they both our cousins, you will write about it. And then Abu Lahab and his family, some answers were very outstanding, but I will show you कि ये किस साल एग्जाम में आया हुआ, और ये ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन है जिसकी आपको मार्किंग स्कीम टीचर्स के नोट्स में नहीं मिलेगी. एंड लास्ट क्वेश्चन, आई थिंक देयर इज नथिंग इन इट, आई जस्ट बाय मिस्टेक लेफ्ट इट देयर, सो वी आर डन विद इट, बट लेट मी जस्ट चेक इफ देयर इज एनी क्वेश्चन which is अच्छा, ये आपको मैंने पहले भी बताया, जब आप themes लिखते हैं, main themes, use these wording in your answer. You can see the teacher is giving you 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4, उससे ऊपर नहीं दे रहा होता. Teacher is looking for first main theme is identified correctly, and then guidance, is it mentioned? What way of guidance is there? Power and all of these things, you need to develop that one. And how is it going to be important in our daily life? That is the suggested point which you need to write in it. Okay, I think we are done with that one. और मैं देख लूँ अगर question 3-4 इसमें से. The same question, growth of Islam in Makkah from first revelation until migration. This is whole Makki life of Holy Prophet. We discussed about it. It's including phases of preaching, conversion of Umar and Hamza to Islam, and pledges of Aqaba. Migration even is not required in detail. Phases, early converts, Umar's conversion and Hamza's conversion is requirement here in it. It's mentioned somewhere, you will find it. And then pledges of Aqaba, they just refer to it. Some of them migrate to Abyssinia, that's what we need to write here. But the conversions details and then pledges of Aqaba, that's the core requirement. ये भी question अभी latest है, ज़्यादा पुराना नहीं है. May June 2024 non-Pakistani variant है. You can expect such type of questions. इन questions के आपको notes में, teachers के या book में answers नहीं मिलेंगे. So that's the reason why I personally chose few papers, and we gave this. I gave this question in some discussion somewhere, I think, or if not, then keep in that question in mind. Conversion of the 4, 10 blessed.